Have you ever felt sad, but you can't even explain why? Like suddenly everything feels heavy. The world that used to be bright now feels blurry, and your heart feels empty. Sometimes you want to talk about it, but have no idea where to even start. You want to cry, but it just feels pointless. You just sit there in the corner of your room, staring at the ceiling while asking yourself, why am I like this? Am I going to be okay? If you're feeling that way right now, I just want to say you're not alone. We've all had those days when nothing makes sense. Those days when your smile is just a mask, and you're pretending to be strong in front of everyone else. But deep down, you're falling apart. Sometimes, we feel like we have to hide from sadness, like it's something wrong. But you know what? Sadness is just part of being human. Just like happiness, anger, or falling in love, sadness is an emotion you need to feel, not something to run away from. Tonight, I want to sit down with you and talk about sadness, not to make you sink deeper into it, but to help you see it more clearly. Because sometimes, when we stop running from our sadness, we can actually figure out what we really need. So if you're feeling lonely or like you need some time to yourself, just think of this as your friend sitting right next to you, keeping you company while you go through it. Take a deep breath, let it out slowly. It's okay, I'm here. Let's start this story together, all right? If this is the kind of topic you've been searching for, listen closely. We're gonna deep dive together. It's me, here with Stories Before Bed, keeping you company with a story I hope truly means something. We're often taught to hide our sadness. We're told to say, I'm fine, even when our hearts are falling apart. And yeah, I get it. Sadness isn't comfortable. It feels like you're drowning in the ocean, trying to swim up to the surface. But the harder you try, the more exhausted you get. But you know what? Sometimes when you stop fighting so hard, you start to notice what's really around you. I want you to remember this. Sadness isn't always a bad thing. It's a sign that you're still human, that you still have a heart, and that you care about what's happening around you. Some people say, don't cry, or people will think you're weak. But I want you to understand that crying isn't weakness. Crying is release. Sometimes those tears you shed are the most honest way to tell yourself, I'm tired. I need a break. Have you ever felt relieved after crying? Like a small weight has been lifted, even though the problem is still there? That's because sadness isn't your enemy. Sadness is like rain in the middle of summer. It soaks you to the bone, but afterward the air feels fresher and the sky looks clearer. Sadness isn't something to hate. It's something to understand, to feel, and to move through at your own pace. We often blame ourselves when we're sad, like there's this tiny voice in our heads saying, you're too sensitive, you're not strong enough. But you know what? Sometimes it's in those moments of sadness that you really get to know yourself better. You figure out what disappoints you, what hurts you, and what you've been holding in all this time. Sadness isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign you're learning something about loss, about disappointment, or about how to get through things you never thought you could handle. So if you're feeling sad right now, I just want to say, give yourself permission to feel it. You don't have to rush to be okay, and you don't have to pretend to be strong. Sit with it for a while. Let yourself feel it, because sadness isn't the end of everything. Sometimes it's the beginning of something new. And you know what? Once you get through this, you'll be stronger than you ever thought possible. Sometimes when you're feeling sad, it feels like the world just stops. All the things you usually enjoy don't seem fun anymore. But you know what? Even the smallest step can make your day feel a little lighter. I'm not saying it'll magically fix everything, but that one small step could be the start of slowly pulling yourself back up. The first thing you can do is give yourself some time. Don't rush yourself to move on or be okay. Sit in your room, play some music that makes you feel comfortable, or maybe try writing down what you're feeling. Sometimes, writing or talking to yourself is the most honest way to let out what's in your heart. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to sound poetic. Just write whatever comes to mind. You'd be surprised at how much lighter you might feel after that. If you start feeling a bit better, try stepping outside for a little while. Just a short walk. Nothing big. Feel the morning air, listen to the sounds of nature, or look up at the clear sky. Sometimes, the little things around you can remind you that there's still beauty in the world, even if you're feeling alone. Another simple thing we often forget: reach out to someone. Not to look for solutions, not to get answers, but just to share. Sometimes, all you need is a friend who will listen to you without judging. You can say, "I'm not okay right now, and trust me." The ones who truly care about you will show up for you. And if you don't feel like talking to anyone, that's okay too. Sometimes, just talking to yourself in the mirror and saying, "It's okay, I'll be all right," can make you feel a little stronger. It might seem small, but it works. Another thing you can try is doing something you enjoy, no matter how small it is. Do you like drawing? Grab a pencil and some paper. Love listening to music? Blast your favorite songs and sing your heart out. Like reading? Pick up an old book that makes you feel cozy. I know that when you're sad, you might not have the energy to do anything, but trust me, doing even the smallest thing you love can help you remember who you really are. And if you just can't do anything right now, allow yourself to rest. Sometimes, sleep is the best way to recharge your heart and mind. Resting isn't wrong, and it doesn't mean you're giving up. Resting is how you gather your strength to get back up when you're ready. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to get through sadness. What matters is that you handle it in your own way. You don't have to rush. You don't have to be perfect. Even one small step is enough. And slowly you'll realize that you can get through this, even if it feels impossible right now. You know, one of the things we often do when we're sad is blame ourselves. You sit there alone, overthinking, and then that little voice in your head starts saying things like, "You're a failure," or "You're not good enough." And you know what's the saddest part? Sometimes we're kinder to others than we are to ourselves. If your friend came to you with their problems, you'd probably say, "It's okay, you'll get through this." But when it's your turn, you end up being your own harshest critic. I just want to tell you, stop. Stop blaming yourself for things that are out of your control. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be strong all the time. And most importantly, you have the right to feel sad. Feeling sad is human. You don't have to pretend you're okay just to make others happy. Sometimes, being honest with yourself is the first step toward healing. Take some time for yourself. Imagine you're talking to a younger version of you, one that's scared, confused, and just needs support. What would you say? Maybe you'd say, "Hey, it's okay. I'm here for you. We're gonna get through this together. Now imagine saying that to your current self, because guess what? You deserve to hear those words. You deserve to be understood, appreciated, and loved, especially by yourself. Then start changing the way you talk to yourself. Every time that little voice tries to put you down, replace it with something kinder. When you think, I can't do this, change it to, maybe I can't do this yet, but I'll keep trying. When you think I'm weak, change it to, I just need some time to rest, and that's okay. You don't have to believe it right away, but if you make it a habit to be kinder to yourself, over time, you'll start to feel more at peace. And one more thing, give yourself some credit. Being sad is exhausting, you know? But you're still here. You're still fighting, even when it feels hard. You're still waking up every morning, going through your days, holding on. That alone is incredible. I want you to close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath, and tell yourself, I'm proud of you. Thank you for holding on. It might feel small, but sometimes those little words can feel like a hug for your tired heart. Learning to be kind to yourself is a process. You don't have to be perfect. Sometimes you'll fall again, cry again, feel sad again. But as long as you remember to get back up, as long as you keep trying to speak kindly to yourself, you'll be okay. You're stronger than you think. And you know what? You deserve to be happy. When you're sad, it can feel like the world is closing in on you. You could be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. Like no one really understands what you're going through, and no one sees how hard you're trying to be okay. But I want you to hear this. You're not alone. Maybe it feels like no one cares, but the truth is, out there are people who love you, even if you don't realize it. It could be a friend waiting for you to open up, but doesn't know how to ask. It could be your family quietly worrying about you. It could even be a stranger who gives you a small smile on the street that somehow makes your day just a little better. You might be going through this alone, but you're not truly alone. And here's something else to remember. You don't always have to be strong. Sometimes, opening up to someone isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of courage. It's okay to say, I'm not okay. And that's perfectly fine. There are people who will listen to you without judging, without giving instant solutions, just listening. And if you're not ready to share yet, that's okay too. Write it down, talk to yourself in the mirror, or just sit quietly and look at the night sky. Those are all ways to tell yourself, it's okay. Slowly, I'll be all right. Sadness can make you feel small, but you know what? Beneath it all, there's a version of you that's growing. I know you might feel tired. I know you might feel stuck right now, but I believe in you. I believe that you have the strength to get through this, even if your steps are small and everything still feels blurry. Trust me, at the end of this, you'll see the light you've been searching for. And when you get there, you'll realize, I'm stronger than I thought. Before I end this, I want you to do one small thing. Close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath in, and let it out slowly. Now, say to yourself, I'm okay. I might be sad right now, but I'll heal. I deserve to be happy and I'm not alone. Repeat it if you need to, because every word of that is a reminder that you're stronger than today and that you've never truly been alone. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I hope what we talked about made your heart feel a little lighter, even just a bit. And remember, It's okay to be sad, and you don't have to rush to be okay. Take your time, one small step at a time, and you'll get through this. See you in the next bedtime story. Good night, and I hope you wake up tomorrow with a stronger heart. Bye.